Hey there gamers, welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you've been having a wonderful week. So I'm going to go over the new Smuggler's Pass here with Oaths of War, some of the most direct routes that you can do to not only get those SP points but also earn them tokens and also to be able to get your guild points. So you're going to need guild points to buy things at Blackwood. That is the new currency now, and a lot of that's pretty similar to the way it was in the past season and even Sovereigns in the past. So a couple basic things to understand, and then we're going to get into opening this pass, guys, and trying to grind it out as quick as possible. Understand it's going to be a grind for you. It's not going to be real fast, but every event that you do in the map, I'm fixing to show you, you're not only going to earn guild marks, you're going to get infamy for destroying it, but you will also get SP. So you're going to be knocking out 3 birds with 1 stone type of a deal. It's not a lot of progress, but it adds up over time. So if you look here on the left side of the screen, you see where it says gold current, and I'm working toward diamond rank. Anyway, all the way up through this leaderboard pass for seasonal and even weekly, you will earn guild points, and that's what you spend over at Blackwood. Now you're going to want to kind of have a knee-jerk reaction, say, you know what, I'm going to go buy the deep iron from Blackwood, and you can do that. I did that. What I recommend though is not doing that. Save it, spend that on your weaponry and your armor. This is fantastic ammo, priming bench. This is freaking awesome. Anything that I've got a siege perk rolled on is benefiting from this furniture. It doesn't have to just be a siege weapon in the game. Everything I've put siege on so far in this game is benefiting from this. Fantastic. I highly recommend on your frigate. I'm going to have a bonus frigate build here for those who have opened it, and also just kind of show some of the guys who are coming into it, see if it's something you're interested in. Your frigate does not have a lot of DPS value. It has a lot of brace, but what you want to do is work that brace in a way that's going to allow you to put out damage, and this is a great way for that. It has the volatile vestment here on the Nova Arma, which is when you're bracing, an explosion is triggered. Now you want to be within 100 meters of the ship when this goes off, and one of the cool things about it, if you're set on fire or you have a negative status effect like flooding or something like that, the moment you brace, this will trigger. So be as close to the enemy as possible when you trigger that brace, or brace up right as they shoot, and be parked up pretty close to some large ships or a large group of ships, and you're going to send out that pulse wave of that explosion. Fantastic way, and every 10 seconds it resets, so you just sitting there procking this thing like crazy. It's fantastic. Now I am currently using the Roaring Meg over on my schooner for the forts. This is fantastic. It does do a great job if you're in a team that needs a frigate and you need something to take out some walls. The way I ended up rolling mine, and I will go over that in the build, but I just focused in on siege with this thing, man, and it is a beast. You can hit over there with the new mega fort that they're running. I've been hitting weak points with it. Yes, you can hit weak points once you get used to aiming this thing. It's kind of an oddball, but once you get used to aiming it, you can actually hit the weak points on the mega fort. It's pretty easy, and you can put out like 157,000 damage with this thing. So really awesome to have. Now what I'm going to be using in this video here is the Storm Vigil as well. So I highly recommend this on any of your ships. It just has a sustained rain of rockets, man, and it's fantastic here on the frigate to get ships up off of you. So I do recommend that. I've not tried the Hero Guard or the Royal Sentinel yet. The Royal Sentinel has, seems like it's going to be pretty good. I'll probably get one of these Hero Guards. I'm just not a real big piercing and puncture effect person, but I see where it could probably come into play later. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it has a lot of values up there to me on the armor. The Impregnable perk is pretty cool, but I'm really not seeing where this is worth the 700 points to me. If I won't spend 700 points, I'm definitely going to go spend it on my deep iron. Now you can buy here every 7 days, guys, from the weekly, and then you can buy up at Talak Panjara as well. So you can buy in both locations. You're not just restricted to just one, but once you've bought, you got to wait 7 days on that. Then of course you can pick up old items down here as well, but that's going to be the quickest way to get the guild points, like I was telling you. Of course, what you really want to see is the SP. So unfortunately there's not an easy way, and I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. You're going to be here a while. I can show you how you're going to be able to, without spending any money, get your frigate within a week, and here's the way it's going to work. There's a couple things, and you can get it within a week, if you've got the grind time. So first things first, you're going to want to come in and start with contracts. You can start with your weekly, you can start with your seasonal, however you want to do it. What I actually started doing is seeing what it is that has the most completion values within a contract. So you have 4 challenges, you can run any 4 challenges, it doesn't matter. So if you're picking up sea monster and you're going to go start destroying sea monsters, pick up a challenge. If you're going to start plundering some forts, hey man, turn it into some fun. Go pick up some contracts and go plunder some Helm materials. You're doing challenges that way. You're going to complete that. You're also going to be working toward your 10 plunders as well, which is going to give you 500 points for 10 plunders. Complete a hostile takeover event and get another 500. There's enough for 2.5, 3, call it 3 points here on the week. It doesn't sound like much, I know, guys. That's going to give you 3 tokens on that. Now, coming into your next side here, this is where it's going to get interesting. You can ascend weapons. I wouldn't try to do all 30, but you could try to do all 30 if you got stuff to send it. Hey man, you do what you got to do. Maybe you're ascending just first tier on some stuff. Hey man, that's cool. However you want to do it. Board 200 ships. That's obviously going to take a while. To complete 10 treasure maps, that's not going to take long. Just travel around, do some treasure maps. You're going to get 2 smuggler points. But if you're looking at what you got up there, you got 3 coming in from the week. So we'll go count it up. So there's 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. 35, 37, 39. You go, okay. That's 39 tokens. Looking up top here, looks like there's going to be another one for 40 maybe. It doesn't say how many it pays there. It looks like it's just paying screw mechanisms maybe. We'll call it 39.40. So that still leaves where you got some SP you got to grind out. Well, what you're going to want to do is grind your SP the way you did everything else. Like I say, this is going to get you those guild points, your guild marks that you're going to be able to buy stuff at the store. You're going to be able to turn around and earn some SP as well. And you're also going to be earning a lot of pieces of 8. For those of you who's been working, you know, maybe you didn't get your helm quite where you wanted it. Well, I've pretty much finished mine. Got a couple little things to button up, but it's getting there now. Like I said, I got 1 down there and I think 2 up here to finish off. And I could probably finish those right now with a 327,000 8s. I was up to 450,000 earlier, just from running this loop and earning these. And remember, you're earning infamy and things as well while you're running this, so this is earning you extra guild marks on top of what you're getting paid. So Fangs of Farah, you're going to run the Hunter Hunted, then you're going to run Treacherous Turn. You're also going to run your Show of Strength, but now this is where you're going to change it up a little bit. Maybe you don't run all 4 in a row. What I would start doing, just so you don't start running into some issues, there are some issues where if you start running them multiple times in behind each other, the other will stop showing up. Not stop showing up on the map, but they don't show up on location, so you can fast travel. So try to hit this one and also hit the convoy next to it, because you're going to earn SP, you're going to earn infamy, you're going to earn those guild points as well over here. Plus it's paying out pieces of 8 as well. So those are going to be some great things. You're going to get a lot of really good resources that you're going to need as well. And that's going to be completing your pass as you go. I know in tier 1 each of these bosses pay 20 SP. Here in tier 2, let's jump over and find one that is up, and we're going to go see exactly what you're going to pay out here in tier 2 on a Treacherous Turn. Now I'm going to be using the Frigate for this, and I will be adding the build at the end here. I know a lot of people like to see it in use, and I made sure we're in tier 2 here because no one wants to see it played in tier 1, and that's fine. I completely understand that. So this is not completely upgraded. This is up to a 12. I am now to the point where going to a upgrade of slot number 5 or level number 5 there of the ship upgrades. It's going to take 5 of the iron plates. Now, where can you get the iron plates? You earn that with getting the deep iron. And once you have the deep iron, you're going to then take your deep iron and you're going to convert that over into the iron plates over at the refinery. Now we're going to go ahead and pulse up. So we went ahead and gave him that nice little pulse. Now we're going to rain some rocket stone on him to see how he enjoys it. There's that dead spot. For those who are wondering, yeah, there's a real big blind spot on the back of this ship. I need to be a little bit close to him. I think he's just outside of my 100 meters here. As you can see, it's just a tank and a half, man. It really is. Does a pretty good job of hitting them weak spots too. Or weak points, whatever you'd like to call them. Now, obviously, ship is not melting through these things like butter, like some of your other ships we've seen in the past. But that's because there's absolutely no extra DPS boost to these ships. You are just getting what you get from your weapons, and you're getting quite a bit from the weapons. Don't get me wrong, but what you've kind of been used to running DPS ships, it takes a little bit to get used to running a standard ship. All right, and we got plenty of maps, so that's what you're getting there. And of course, we're going to show you the build out here. This is still a build in progress, but I'm kind of liking it so far. We'll go over some of the things that we have set up on it. You can run it in tier 1, Megafort Oosted, fine. You grind anything and everything with it by yourself easily. Tier 2, you're going to want to have some guys to help you with the walls, simply because, I mean, there's a lot of ships there. You can deal with the ships or you can deal with the walls, but it's hard to do both. And while it is a brace tank and a half, it's not going to brace a lot of level 20 sharpshooters, unfortunately. It just doesn't have that kind of skill set at this level. But like I said, once it gets fully upgraded, we're definitely going to see where it's at. But I'm seeing some real potential in this ship, so we're going to go over a little comprehensive build here of what we've got. And I hope this video has helped you guys out. For those who've been popping into Discord saying hello and all, hey man, I appreciate you coming over, and I definitely appreciate you let me know some things that you need to see in the builds, and also having some input on some of the content you've seen already. So that always is nice to hear. Okay, so managing our ship, I'm going to also show you how to do an arsenal loadout. So I like this loadout here pretty good, and while I've already saved it, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hit the overwrite button, which is going to basically save it. So you would hold your own Xbox or X Square on PlayStation to save your thing, and then it is going to be specific to the ship. And yes, all your arsenal loadouts for your ships show up here. So this one here is actually for my schooner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in that this is a schooner build. So I know that one there's for my schooner. This one here's for my frigate. This is the demi build. I'm going to try a couple different builds here that I'm playing around with, but this is the new Thunder Dragon demis, and I do have this stuff fully ascended for everybody. But you will add those different things here. This way you don't have to upgrade multiple ships. You just put out weapons and things like that. Now, you will need a piece of armor for each ship. Otherwise, you're going to have to go in and change each time you bounce this back and forth. So you want to have enough armor to go on your ships, guys. Otherwise, you're going to have to physically move it. It doesn't do that for you automatically. So just so you're aware. Now, on our weapons, I'm using things that you should have or can get this season. So, Lang Cartois, this is a explosive weapon. We've got it placed off the front. It has the impending boom. I do have a siege perk on there, explosive 2, piercing 1, rapid reload. I rolled another siege on it and amplified explosive. This does pretty good. It's doing about 78,000 weak point damages on the fort as well, whenever I take this thing in there with my schooner, mind you, not with this ship. with a schooner. I have the same build on my schooner. So, but yeah, so it's looking pretty good as far as that. You know, decent weapon. It does a good job for your forts and things like that here. Like say Tier 1, World 1, you could run the Mega Fort by yourself in this thing, and just like a breeze. It's just nothing to it. So Thunder Dragon Cannon. So this is actually the new Demi Cannon. It has lightning strikes while ripping sails. When in doubt, point at the sail, shoot it. That the sails is essentially a big weak spot now, and it calls that lightning in. Same as with our Divine Winds and things. You have the Sky Wind perk on here, which is says sail. Each cannon fire at the enemy sails has a chance of summoning lightning strike that deals 5,000 electric damage. Every hit adds a 15% chance up to a maximum of 45%. Lightning strikes damage increases to 10,000 if target has torn sails. So it has a tearing 3 perk on here as well, so you could double down on that to get that extra, you know, the extra perk of 10,000 if you wanted to. It does a pretty good job without it. You don't really have to do that. I'm going to show you what I ended up doing. So you also have electric 2. I went ahead and throwed some sparks on there. I need to roll that out, but I was getting some really crappy rolls, so I'm holding off to wait and see what I can get. What I want is to actually just get damage, which increases the damage. I want to get that God roll on that. Then I have tearing, increases damage by 36% when hitting sails. Then we have that roar effect on here, which is going to build up taunt. That's how I'm able to build up taunt on some of these level 2 bosses. Does a pretty good job as well. And that is that way on both of my Thunder Cannons. And then on the back, I'm still playing around. I threw a darts on there. I'll probably change it, but I do have this set up with double siege on this currently because, like I said, I wanted to run forts and stuff on Tier 1 with it pretty easy. That's where I used to grind a lot of stuff. I don't foresee me grinding Mega Fort Houston 1 at all anymore. And the simple reason for that is it still pays 2,200 pieces of 8. In case you're wondering, great for that, guys. It really is. But running those 4 mini bosses, they're paying 4 to 5, even 650 pieces of 8 here in Tier 2 per boss. So just grinding through those and just rotation, you can do them and really earn some pieces of 8. That's going to help you get your helms done too. So then, of course, our main auxiliary weapon, this Storm Vigil, y'all seen that working in that battle there. It has 38,173 damage on there, 20-second reload. 300-meter range, 2 gun ports for this thing. When you load up a auxiliary, it loads both ports for you. Cannot currently in the game assign one and then something else to it. So hopefully that's the feature we'll see come in later. We'll just have to wait and see what they end up giving us. So then, of course, you have flooding 2 on top of the torrent. Here you got 60 rockets over an extended period of time. 50% flooding is dealt as severe damage, and flooding 2 adds 20% of damage as flooding damage. You know, with the NPC ships, it's kind of, you know, whatever. It's not a big deal, but I imagine it's going to be pretty awesome come PvP time. Then, of course, went ahead and bumped that firepower perk up 8.3%. And we'll probably try for more later. I haven't decided yet. We'll have to wait and see. But we ended up with the firepower perk of 8.3, boosting to normal firepower of this. Then we added the roar, which is 7.9% of base damage. Builds is taunted again on that. And then, of course, the raider perk on here, increasing the build-up of vulnerable status effects by 36%. Now, you may be wondering, why did I go with those particular rolls? The reason I went with those particular rolls is because those were the only rolls that really looked like they was worth the crap. Unfortunately, it seems like, and it could just be something that was going on that day, and I really need to go back in and check that. We could do that real quick. But I was not seeing any of my extra perks that I really like to have, like, you know, explosives or burning or anything like that to add that extra effect. Everything was just some pretty basic, like some wind turns and stuff like that. And that was what was being shown in the list. That isn't what I was rolling. I mean, I got pretty lucky and rolled those perks pretty fast, but it just wasn't showing me anything worth getting. And I'm going to double check and look again here. And I wasn't getting very good rolls on my demi cannons either, so I pulled off the other day because I don't want to roll all this stuff out. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose my rolls on it. Wait for them to make a little bit better system. So when we come in here and you look and see roar, severity, restore readiness, energize, victory rally, death blow, lethal, repair readiness, amplified flooding. I don't really need any more flooding on this thing. Grace of the winds, don't care about that. Bloodthirsty, didn't care about that. Regular perk, obviously we went with. Precise patchwork, you know, siege. I could have put that on there, but I don't really use rockets for siege towers and stuff much. Tearing and brute and soul mending. So I'd say really the only thing that's seen was some tearing, some siege, and then of course that flooding. So and the same thing over here. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to change later. I remember hearing that they had talked about maybe changing some of the advanced modifications on weapons, but I don't think that that's across the board, because if we come over here and we look, we do have severity, restore readiness. Let's get down here to the nitty gritties. Amplified electric, yeah, so it's almost like based off what the weapon is what you're going to be allowed to add on here now. You're not going to be able to add any like crazy stuff to it. And man, you really roll through some stuff. I have 13 rolls left on this, so I held off on it because I couldn't even get amplified electric to roll on here the other day. I ended up with a god roll on the tearing and the roar, and I stuck with those. But like I say, what I really want is I want to do some amplified electric, but until I can do something with it. And again, on sparks, everything I kept rolling was sparks. I couldn't get a firepower. It was sparks like crazy. And then I had a combust. One time there was a combust, so I actually put a combust on thinking it would change this. Didn't change it. So again, not complaining, just telling you, be watching for this. Check and make sure that the perk you really want is even going to be available in that roll, because it is weapon specific what we're seeing that we can roll now. They had mentioned they were going to change some things in here, and they definitely have. So hope this has kind of found you, in a way where you're going to be a little bit better off in coming into it. If you're just getting into doing your Helm, guys, I've got a lot of videos out on it. My first recommendation to you, though, on the closing here is, as you're getting 8s, the first thing you need to be working on getting where you can own your factories, okay? And I hear a lot of times people talk about they really need silver. A lot of times because they're spinning up their weapons, they're rolling the dice on the weapons and stuff, and that's cool. This here is going to make it so if you do this, come up to the Helm here and get this completed, you're going to be able to make the base products, the white skull products and things like that, and get those contracts and be able to go around and farm. Now, one of the things that we used to be able to do is we used to be able to pick up those contracts in the Helm office, and what you're going to see is they no longer set the liaisons in the exact same spot. So one of my daily routines when I would come in and just before I would leave is I would come over and I would pick up some contracts at the supply network, and you can still get them, but understand, unless they change something, these are the rovings are in different locations. So this one's at Port Hermine. This one here is going to be over here at Spice Islands. And then, of course, this one up here at Moose and Strait. Now, you can drop off pieces of 8, just so you're aware. You can do that. Now, if I load all 3 of these up and blow up one Helm liaison, does it then complete them all? I've not checked that today. That's something we may look at later. But or if you want to experiment around with it, definitely try it out. But also your roving mission here that used to be down by the Grand Fillets, they are no longer together in the exact same spot. They too have been moved. So this one's at Giwi today and over at Batavia Reefs. So like I say, they're moving some things around. They're changing the way we do things up. Now, if you carry both those to one location and destroy it, does it then in turn give you, a completion on both? Again, I don't know. You're going to have to go in and check it and see. I've kind of just been relying on my forts. All of the forts have been paying out some really good materials for me. And then, of course, I've been kind of looking at this here. When you come into your tax running my fort plunders, this is where I get most of my materials now is fort plunders, or just running, Mega Fort Houston. You get a lot of materials from it at times, and the ships that pop in over there too. So those are some things you can check out. Like I say, man, you can still run them, but they have moved them. They've separated the ships a little bit, and whether or not the liaisons and stuff are going to rack out the same way, if you destroyed one, it would complete all contracts. I don't know if it still does that, guys. Y'all are going to have to go out and check it. I will probably check it this evening, but we're not going to do that in this video. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Comment in below if there's something you're needing help with. I'll try to get you some help. We'll post up a link for the Discord, guys. Make sure you come in there. And we do ask that when you come into the Discord and you come into voice chat and stuff, guys, try not to talk over each other. If people migrate to another room, try not to follow them and then talk over what their conversations are. Try to stick to your servers if you can, because, you know, I know we're all excited about the pass and things like that, and we can come out with some taverns and stuff where, you know, people can talk. But if you're looking to get that grind in with crews and stuff in there, make sure that you're utilizing those battle rooms that we have set up. And if you're running into issues, just let us know. We can teach you how to adjust some volumes. You can adjust everyone's volume, so everyone has different settings on their stuff. So I don't think it's intentionally people screaming back and forth. I think it's just intercoms are turned up higher on some folks than others, and you can adjust those volumes manually in Discord. If you need help with that, find me or Sirius or Rat, and we're going to be able to tell you how to do that. Or even Tactical Turtle, he's another one of our mods. You get in there and he's going to be able to, these guys, they're going to be able to help you, you know, level those chat challenges in there. So we'll catch everybody later.